continuation of the conversation that we started on this platform earlier today, precisely on the news trends. And it is one subject matter that's been gaining a lot of traction everywhere. Nigerians are talking about it, even government officials, even the president of the country has also been talking about it, and that tells you the magnitude of that subject matter. It's about a planned national protest. And Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday appealed to Nigerians, the youth, to sheet their swords, to shelve the plans for the national protest. And his reason was anchored on the government. It's already responding to posers raised by the planners of the protest that comes with the hashtag End Bad Governance. And he went on to explain some efforts of his government, how trucks of rice have been sent across the entire country and all that. The message was conveyed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Idris Mohammed, and to buttress the seriousness of the government to the fast approaching planned national protest. This morning now, the SGF Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has actually sent out an invite to all ministers and SAs, and I think cabinet officials in the present government. They will be meeting, and the single subject matter is over the forthcoming national protest. But the way, for me, as a Nigerian and as a public affairs commentator, the way to look at this is that I think at this stage, it's not just enough that Mr. President issued a statement that was now conveyed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Idris Mohammed. I think for starters, the seriousness and the magnitude of this matter at hand demands that Mr. President himself should address Nigerians. It should not be too much if because of this matter. Because now, if you aggregate the thoughts of Nigerians, and we've been honest with ourselves now, a lot of Nigerians are aggrieved. A lot of Nigerians are angry. And the reason is not far-fetched. They are hungry. And it's a saying that a hungry man is an angry man. And, a statistics that was released not too long ago by the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, NBS, which the government also rely upon, says about 133 million Nigerians are living below extreme poverty line. It's bad enough that one is living or swimming in the water called poverty. But when it also now comes with a qualifier, that is not just ordinary poverty, extreme poverty. It's only in Nigeria I also hear from the first time that there is the poorest of the poor. I've always known about the poor in the society, which you have in every society, not only Nigeria. But to now say the poorest of the poor, that means something. So in a country where you have all of this, you don't even need a soothsayer to tell you that you have an army of very angry people and an army of hungry people. And it goes beyond the president speaking through third parties. I think the president should, as a matter of necessity, and I think in defense to long-suffering Nigerians, have a presidential national broadcast to talk to Nigerians, to assuage feelings, and beyond that, to show empathy, not to express sympathy, but to show empathy. And I think the government's response, the one that will be acceptable to Nigerians, has to be a robust response. It took just two policies to put Nigeria and Nigerians into this present hardship we're experiencing. Subsidy removal and the unification of the forex windows. And for me, if these were policies of the government, and as a direct resultant effect of these policies, then maybe government should also come up with robust policies that will ameliorate the sufferings that were caused principally by the policies of the same government. I think that's just logical for the government to do that. Now, Mr. President telling us via Mr. Minister of Information and National Orientation that rice have been sent and maybe fertilizers and some other things. All those things are under the heading of palliatives. Even a child born yesterday in Nigeria knows that palliatives don't work in Nigeria. So it doesn't matter how many billions have been expended or trillions on palliatives. It is more like wasted money, because I don't think it has in any significant or meaningful manner ameliorate the sufferings of the people. If sufferings of the people have been ameliorated, we won't be talking about national protest that will hold in August. So for me, if those who are close to the president, if those who surround him, shield him away from the truth, the fact that Nigerians are planning a national protest now should be a pointer to the fact that it seems people are not getting what we are doing. That is enough pointer for the president to realize that whatever has been done so far has not worked. It's not working. And they need to engage a robust gear that would take ease of life to Nigerians. If now we begin to see food prices getting cheaper week on week, Nigerians will not complain. You see, there's something about Nigerians that I know very much. Nigerians, we love our leaders. We don't hate our leaders. We don't. You only see Nigerians complain so vehemently when they are pushed to the wall. And of course, if anybody is pushed to the wall, there's no place to go to again. You turn back and confront the situation. And that confrontation can be expression of anger, can come in the form of protest. But if you also start doing what is right today, you can drive to the next gas station and you can get it for 300 per liter, 400 per liter. Then you can go and buy. Somebody told me this morning that a plastic of beans, they call it a rubber of beans, is about 8,000 naira. And I can get to Adua market. Now I just drove from here and the rubber of beans has suddenly become 4,000 naira. 50% got. Do you know what will happen in August? People will carry placards in support of the government. And it will be hashtag we thank you government. It won't be hashtag end governance. So it's so simple what to do. And in all of this too, yes, we are pointing the finger majorly at the federal government. But the sub-nationals cannot be absolved of blame. Now, FAC publish every month how much has been shared to the 3 tiers of government: federal, state, and local government. We know what a lot of local governments have been, but there is a Supreme Court judgment that has at least dealt with that now, to some extent, financial autonomy for local governments, where they have democratically elected local government officials. Now, for the state governments, they've been receiving a lot of cash injection, improved cash from the federal government, and this cash not given to them to pocket or to appropriate amongst the state actors, but it was to bring succor to the people of their state. We also need to bring them into accountability. They have to account for what they have been receiving. Different states too have announced billions to be spent to intervene in this and that, in food, to do cash transfer. We also need to do assessment and evaluation of how effective or ineffective this has been. So I think for me, the protest is against the government across all levels, even the subnationals, not just the federal government. But because the headline government is the federal government, it's like having a concert. There will be a headline artist, even though there will be some other supporting artists that will also perform on the stage. So, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if truly the government does not want any demonstration or protest that can be damaging to a sick economy in the first place, things to do are quite simple. Address Nigerians, then let there be a robust response. Let us be able to wake up tomorrow in another 2 days, go to the market, food is cheap, food is available everywhere. Nobody will protest. Israel.
Well, Honorable, you've spoken to those in authority, so perhaps I'll just limit myself to those who want to protest themselves. As long as you have a grievance, I think the grievances should be realistic. Whatever you're demanding should also be realistic, because I just try to go online to see what exactly are people demanding for in this hashtag end bad governance. Electoral reform is there, which is very genuine.
It is,
and I think we need that.
We need that.
And we need that ASAP. A release of end SARS detainees. That is very genuine.
That is very genuine.
And that should be done. Even not quite long, Sani, the former senator, Shehu Sani, spoke to Mr. President and said those who are still in detention should be freed. So
I think it was on the commemoration of this year's democracy.
Exactly. That's very legitimate. Then there's also a demand for living wage, which they peg at about 300,000 now. I'm beginning to have concern. There are things that, yes, in the immediate, the government can do.
Yeah, feasible.
And with the reality of things on ground, yes, you can say government can do. And there are things that may not.
It's not feasible readily.
Visible at the moment. So if you say living wage of 300,000 naira for everybody, I don't know how the government can achieve that. Then there is also this free education from primary to secondary school, and an educational grant at the tertiary level. Well, something we can work around that to ensure basic education is meant to be.
It's meant to be free.
And so it's not something we cannot actually work to actually actualize. And then there are other things people are actually demanding for. You also have price reduction of petroleum to 100 naira. That I think is not possible.
It's not possible.
So
let's not.
The reason why I went this way is so that when you are going out to protest, it's your constitutional right. You should also know why you are protesting and what you're demanding for. If you don't know why you're protesting, you just see people on the street and you join them. Those are the people that eventually give a bad name to that protest. When in quote the other strike protests that we like to forget so in a hurry because of the way it turned out. It began peacefully. It was fine until it was hijacked by fifth columnists. So the point now is that everyone who says they want to protest because it's their right, they should go about it lawfully, peacefully. Don't damage public properties. Don't attack individuals. You are there for a reason. Make your petition known. They said the protest is going to be for 10 days. I think that's also long. I think they should also give room for negotiation between themselves and the government so that they can solve this amicably. If I recall very well, during the last protests that we have nationwide, there were some business concerns that said we don't want this protest because it didn't make food, it didn't ensure that they have food on their table. So when we have the laxity to do this, and in as much as it's within our right, where your rights start another or ends, another man's own starts. So we should respect one another as we go about this peacefully, and the police should ensure that they provide adequate security for those who are protesting. If you notice anyone who is trying to hijack the system, raise an alarm so that the police can take them into custody. And that would be my take this morning.
All right, and I think finally, I don't think we need the broadside or the sideshow on Onuga versus Obi.
No,
I don't think we need that now. No. Honestly, we do not need that now. Let us look at the real issues and address those issues.
All right, let's talk about it. Call us on these numbers: 0705 512 9881 and 0705 572 7881. For text and WhatsApp, the number is 0705 967 6881. Good morning. Hello. All right. Hello, good morning. What is going on? Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, ma.
Welcome back, Watimari Great.
Yes, on a bunga, my body is good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank God, when is it?
Yes.
Is it a crime for president to resign if he is not incompetent to lead the country? It's only in this country or Africa, president or any leader who still sit in office. Why not do anything? And I have said it, the government is more by incompetent people, and they bring policy that don't work for the masses. Hungry in the land, he said that we will not come out and express our feelings on the situation of the country. How can he be a small child and not allowing her to cry out? This is a punishment to Nigeria. This is very, very sad. I don't know. We will come out and protest. But only I'm saying that we will not protest with bitterness and destroy people's property. That's we want to express our mind that things are not going on. We are hungry. How can I pay a tip of yam for 4,000? A tip of yam, 4,000. Pay a look for bread, for 2,000 in the country like this. Say that you don't talk out. They are flying plane, wearing our border, enjoying the country. Say that we should have patience. Have patience on Nigeria, all Nigeria there in starvation. We should have patience. I don't see any good thing they are doing to revive this country. As I see, let him resign. It's not a crime. We plan to resign. He's not competent to lead the country. Let him go. Leave Nigeria alone.
Let us also be a bit careful because the protesters and from his planning, I don't think it's one of the conditions that the president should resign. So I understand the emotions. I mean, virtually every Nigerian, every average Nigerian is feeling the crunch of the hardship in the country. I feel it too. I'm sure Israel feels it as well. Even Joyce feels it as well. But again, let's control our emotions. Thank you.
Good morning. This line, what's happening with you? Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Joyce.
Welcome. What's your name and where are you calling us from, please?
Yeah, no, sir, calling back.
Happy to have you, Nosa. Talk to us.
Yeah, for me, protest is just a message to the leader that this is what they're about to go to protest. I mean, in a peaceful way. The last caller, that word, I will not buy that word because when some protesters will listen to that word, they will want to use it. Something like resign this time. After all, Israel just read off what they will need, and which is true. So but if we really protest in a normal way, peaceful way, it's as if you are passing message. Because somebody has passed that message before in Abuja by climbing the map, and they say they want to protect him as this man. But there's no way, there's no how we can pass the message. We have tried different ways. It's the only way just to protest in its activity and let it be peaceful. Because if I wish answers work that people did not hijack it, it will be the best. Because we are passing through pain. Everybody is passing it. Because it's only this administration we hear the chorus of the poor. Even APC government, we start to hear the chorus of the poor in a Buhari government. And now this man is still using APC government. Let me just say the word come from APC. Because we are not hearing before in PDP. And forest of the poor. Honorable, you have said it. No, we have not seen this. Is really where we hear forest of the poor.
All right.
People are poor. So the
Now
problem,
I also hear
I don't know what.
extreme poverty. Below, I hear
Okay, honorable.
No,
Let me leave other people.
extreme poverty.
Thank you so
very
much. Good morning. Let's do some WhatsApp. Coalition for Sustainable Development says, if not for the fact that critical sectors like our Benin City Mall will be attacked, peaceful protests would have been nice. When you say peaceful protest and then when you say attack, I don't think they work together. If it's a
I
peaceful
hope
protest,
that's not being suggestive because
I would hate for us to put these types of things out there.
oh yes.
So let's be careful of the things that we're saying. And remember, the protest is not an Edo State protest. From what I'm hearing, it's a national protest.
nationwide
And
protest.
it's not a protest directed at the mall. So why
I don't
bring
know
the mall into the
why the
conversation?
mall would be involved in any way, shape, or form. No size in quoted in this morning, and he says, if I start by saying that good governance is not rocket science, but it's leading, or I will start by saying that good governance is not rocket science, but it's leading your people with good conscience. The upcoming protest is long overdue because people are hungry. Take-home salary cannot even take you home. Mr. President should do more if you truly want to end the suffering of Nigerians, not this sharing of rice which state officials are using for a campaign. Please, security officials should also be fully on ground. And for protesters, please let there be a specific demand, not unrealistic demands. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, welcome. What's your name and where are you calling us from, please?
Yeah, my name is Mike.
All right.
Oboru
Mike,
from
welcome.
Takwel.
Happy to have you.
Yeah. Thank you and good morning to the whole of you in the studio there.
Thank you so much, sir.
This matter, there is nothing like palliative. Government does a make fool of Nigerians. Federal government to be precise. They are making fool of Nigerians. Mr. Tinubu should leave this office because his indication is to kill people. He's still unconcerned with the predicament, with the sufferings of Nigerians. So what are we saying? Which palliative right took up to each person? Amen. Is making a fool of Nigerians. Please. That's all I have to contribute this morning.
All right, no
I'll
mention
I'll
of
still
the
come
protest.
back to those who are saying leave the office. It is not part. Let's not misrepresent the intentions of the protest or those who plan it. I don't think it was part of their intention to call for the resignation. They only said end bad governance, and they were specific in their demands. And resignation of Mr. President is not one of them.
Maybe I should run through some other demands they have. So they want diaspora voting, they want judicial overhaul, they want public works investment, electoral body reconstitution, energy fund, security reforms, a restructuring for diversity, corruption probe, subsidy regime should be reinstated, renationalization of enterprises,
Yes.
release of Maz Nnamdi Kalu, educational investment, higher minimum wage to 250,000, abolish the Senate, return us to unicameralism. That's one house.
That's a
one
political
lawmaking
and
house.
electoral
Exactly.
reform.
Then they need a new constitution. They don't agree with the 1999 constitution. Also, you have judicial and constitutional reforms. I think most of them fall under that place. So those are part of the things they're clamoring for.
All right.
And resignation of the president is not part of
No,
it.
no.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joyce.
Welcome.
Thank you for picking my call.
Thank you for calling me.
As if it was deliberate to either pick or not to pick. Why they implicate us, Ejala?
Why I say thank you for calling me, since we are thanking each other
No,
for
no, 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 no.
bare
Why they
minimum.
try to implicate us, Ejala?
Good morning, you said I'm better for my mother.
Good morning, Janla.
Let me say like this. I've been listening to your call since. When you say bad governance, some people are turning to only federal government is already bad governance we have in Nigeria. So some of it's like the governments are doing well. It's only the federal government is the problem of Nigeria. Sometimes I just had to call this kind of time because I've been listening to your callers. It's like federal government only is the problem of Nigeria. And they don't know that government is all levels. We have bad governance at all levels. From councillor, judiciary, everything we have bad governance. So we are telling our bad governance to only one man who is president. Don't see there anyone happen. Our governors are happy because these are the same governors who champion removal of subsidy. Nigerians forget history. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, these are the governors who champion removal of subsidy. They are one of the biggest beneficiaries of subsidy now. But today, we hear bad governance is just federal government. We don't get bad governance in federal government. I think the government are doing well. Yes, today I was watching Nigeria State government. It is another 100 tractors. Again. So he said what he demanded is what he paid for 1,000. But he has received another 100. Now 300 and 400 now. So this is what we call proactive. The biggest problem we are facing in Nigeria today is hunger. How cannot do only federal government and state government? Let all governments in all levels do their job. When we say palliative is not a bad idea, honorable. The problem of palliative is that we have a state government to give us the reason.
We don't have a reliable social diary.
You don't have
You're breaking up a bit, Janla.
Because
Thank you so much. I think you sent home your points.
You know why I seem not to accept palliative? Since they have started doing palliative in Nigeria, I mean, it became more prominent since 2020. None has ever reached me. I don't know if it has reached Israel.
So we
before.
are not vulnerable.
We are not poorest of the poor. And we are not living under extreme poverty.
What's crazy is that this concept of poorest of the poor is interesting because there's nobody that this thing is not biting.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody has a thing. Do you know yesterday, somebody just casually mentioned that there's something she has lost access to. And we're all waiting. We thought we hear healthcare. And she said grapes. That those small grapes used to be 1,000.
It's 5,000 and above now.
And then I realized that even me, I've lost access to grapes. So many of us had lost access to
Joyce,
grapes.
that you can still buy grape.
I cannot buy
you are
it.
not, that you could afford it in the first place. You are not among those categories.
So the thing at the end of
You
the
are
day
not
is that
living under below extreme
everybody
poverty.
is being properly
it's
affected.
vulnerable. We're all vulnerable.
Sometimes you don't even notice how much you have been able. You have cut.
You see, this grape we are talking about recently is one of those. I know my wife loves it a lot, and
She love am.
And sometimes maybe when I know I've matched line, as we say in local parlance,
You gotta buy
I
grapes.
use it to bread. But now I can't. So it's not no longer as scary as used to be. When last did you buy me?
Carry husband, no see money buy
So you don't
grapes.
see that say grape.
It's affecting
So
your marriage.
it's affecting me. My status now reads less caring than you used to be.
And they say you're not vulnerable.
And they say I'm not vulnerable.
It is well. Julius Elder Statesman is here and says he doesn't believe the protest will work. He says he believes innocent youth may be harmed or the protest could be hijacked. Nigerians should instead channel their grievances to their representatives at the National Assembly. Our recruitment process is faulty. Let's go back to the root cause of our problems. I don't know why your INEC chair is still in the office. I don't know. He's doing his job.
He's still organizing elections.
That's where he works. That's why he's still in the office. That's where he works.
He's still our chief electoral officer.
For the INEC chair to leave the office, he has a tenure, and the tenure must be expired, or maybe age catches up with him. Other than that, I will stuck with him.
That is why Israel every day comes here and tells you that the problem that you don't know that you have is in your constitution.
No, that's the reality.
It's the reality.
It's just that we don't
It's the
actually
reality. We don't
study.
tell ourselves
If
the
you
truth.
study your constitution, you see the loopholes inside there. And I agree with the last comment. We need to now start pressurizing our legislature. Who are the lawmakers?
Who are the lawmakers?
To edit some of these
Do you know
vacancies.
they
that we
actually
see.
are representatives, direct representatives from
Not
the
even the
various
president.
constituencies. Not even the president is not a direct representative.
And you have access to them. You can actually get their phone numbers. Like the one in Abuja, you can get his direct line.
You know what?
You
baffles
should
me?
have access.
Honorable,
Unfortunately,
what baffles me is at times we complain on platform, people call and say, oh, this person has not done well. Then when election comes, we validate that same person again and then vote for
we
him.
give him another 10
And
minutes.
then you will now come back again and
To
say
start
this person has
complaining.
not done well. So I don't understand when you had the chance to replace him in the first
To
place,
remove him.
but you still voted for him.
Let's look at Lola's comment. She says, good morning, Honorable Crew. If everybody is being affected by the economic crunch, who then effects a better change for the citizens? Is it the citizens themselves or the leaders? I, for one, have never seen where a date is given for a protest to take place and it happens abruptly. Lolo from Cook Road. And that's the last comment that we can take at this moment. We have 30 seconds
Time
out of our
flies.
clock.
I thought we still have acres of time ahead
You
of us.
know, one time I told you that in the past, time would fly when you're having fun, but now, fun or no fun, the time is
Time is
flying, whether you like it or not. Final thoughts, Honorable.
Oh, well, my final thought is that between the led and the leadership, let us always remind ourselves that it's a social contract. I mean, they have their part to play. We have our part to play. And they have to be faithful to all the promises they made to us. Any act of unfaithfulness is a breach of that social contract. And they should also remember that the ultimate power of them being in or out of office resides with the people. That is where they hold the biggest end of the stick. And if you don't want the people to wield that stick, be faithful to your terms and conditions in that social contract.
And that's our show. Thank you so much for joining us. We're back again tomorrow morning from 9 a.m. to 9:45. My name is Joyce Chukuka. Good morning, Edo State.